back into the pack and then shuffled the cards twice before laying them out by instinct in the Not Hereafter spread, its name signifying that all things the deck contained would be here displayed. All reparations, the past. All possibilities, now, and all risk, henceforth and ever. His fingers moved quickly, summoned by a call from the cards. There was something here they wanted to show him. He quickly understood that there was news of great consequence here, so he neglected the rules of reading, one of the first being that a reader waited until each of the number of cards required for the spread had been laid out. A war was coming. He saw it in the cards. The last of the plots were being laid even now. The weapons loaded and polished, the armies assembled, all in readiness for the day when Aberratian history turned the final corner. Was this the cards' way of telling him what part there was for him to play in this last grim game? If so, then he would attend to whatever he was being taught, trust to their wisdom, as had so many who had come to him over the years, despairing of all other remedy, seeking that which the cards would show. He wasn't surprised to find that there were many fire cards around his threshold, laid out like gifts. He was a man whose life and flesh had been re-wrought by that unforgiving element. Touching the cards with his seared fingertip, it was impossible for him not to remember the merciless conflagration that had beaten him back as he tried to save his family. One of his children, the youngest, had survived, but the fire had claimed all the rest except his mother, and it had only granted her a reprieve because she had always been as pitiless and all-consuming as a great fire. A fire large enough to reduce a mansion and most of a dynasty to ashes. In effect, he'd lost everything, because his mother, crazed by what she'd witnessed, it was said, had taken the infant and disappeared into day or night, perhaps in her madness, to hide the one survivor of her 23 grandchildren from the slightest hint of smoke on the wind. But the insanity plea had never been sufficient to quite calm the card reader's unease. His mother had never been a very wholesome woman. She'd liked, more than was good for an unbalanced spirit such as hers, tales of deep magic, of earth-blood doing, and worse. And it had troubled the card reader more than a little that he had lost track of both his mother and son. It troubled him because he had not known what they were up to. But even more because they, the one who had borne him and the one he had fathered, were out there somewhere, a part of the powers assembling for the labors of destruction that were signaled everywhere in the lay of the cards. "Must I come and find you?" he said. "Is that what this is? Do you want a sentimental reunion, Mother?" He judged by weight how many of the cards he had so far laid down. A little over half, he guessed. It was possible the half he still held carried news of his last connection with Aberratian history, but he doubted it. This was not a spread of specificities. It was the hereafter naught, the last apocalyptic gospel of the Aberratian tarot. He set the unplayed cards down and went to the door of his house to bathe his scarred face in the cast of the silver starlight. The years when the children of the village of Edo, which was at the bottom of the steep trail that zigzagged up the cliff to his house, had lived in fear of him, had long since passed. Though they would play-act terror to amuse each other, and he played the growling monster to feed the fiction, they knew he usually had a few pattersem to toss over the threshold for them to squabble over, especially when, as tonight, they brought him something they had found along the shore to give to him. Today, as he stood at the door of the house, one of his favorites, a sweet hybrid of sea skipper and commonplace child called Lupta, came squealing to find him with an entourage of children following close behind her. "I have Flotsamy Jutsamy," she boasted. "I have many. Look at this, all thrown up by our great..."